Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I am a Western astrologer, and this is a full moon in Libra video for twin flames. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you'd like to get a reading with me for you and your twin, you are welcome to email me at chrysalismoon@gmail.com, KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com, and I'll link that email for you in the description box below. So this new moon, or full moon, I should say, in Libra, it's actually a full moon. I got to stop saying new moon. It's full. Um, this full moon is a very interesting one for twin flames. If you saw the new moon in Aries video last month or earlier this month, you would have seen that the divine feminine was really landing at a choice point at the time of that new moon. That choosing and the need to make choices has just ramped up in the last 2 weeks from that new moon to this full moon. And we can see that here in the configuration of this kind of seesaw, this teeter-totter here between all of this action out here in Aries, Mercury, Chiron, Vesta, Eris, and the Sun, and all of this action out here in Libra, Makemake, Pallas Athena, Haumea, and then the moon sitting here with the earth in Libra. Libra really represents our relationships, our partnerships, the one-to-one connections, both romantic and business. Aries really represents ourself, who we are at our core, our instincts, what we choose when left to our own devices and our own nature. Both of these are cardinal signs being about initiative, taking leaps, moving forward, taking action. With such oppositional energy between the two, it's really about finding balance. And with the full moon occurring at the very end of Libra, and then the divine feminine symbol, Juno, occurring right here at the very end of Gemini and in a trine to this energy here in Libra. The trine making ease, creating flow between these two air signs, which are mental energy. The divine feminine is finding herself in this almost a state of grace, I want to say. She's been relieved quite a bit of some of the heavy emotional burden that she's been carrying for some time now. And I've seen some divine feminines come into my readings and, wonder, like, well, is it over? Is it done? I know it's not, but it seems like it is. Like, my DM, he's not showing up, he's not present. What's actually happening here with all of this air energy trining the Juno symbol for the divine feminine is she's actually been slightly almost unplugged from the energetic heavy lifting that the divine masculine is in the process of going through at this time. She's been given the opportunity to have a break, have rest, a reprieve. This is somewhat what peace feels like. It's the absence of some of the striving, yearning, aching that many divine feminines went through last year as Jupiter moved through Scorpio. So, with that, like I said, that really allows the divine feminine to operate at a choice point with this full moon, because at the last stages of Libra and the last stages of Gemini, she's being given the opportunity to take a look at the way the connection has been impacting her personally with all of this energy here in Aries, and ask herself, do I want to continue down this path in this connection in the way that it's been? Is it serving me? Am I interested in considering perhaps letting go? Is it even possible for me? Would I rather stay in this given what it has been to date? Do I have it in me? And if I do, what am I going to need to heal myself? Here's Chiron and Aries speaking with Mercury, the mind and communication, and Vesta, that which is holy, that which we'd lay down our life for. What am I going to need to heal in order to make it possible to stay in this connection no matter what comes? These are choices that are heavily on the Divine Feminine's mind at this point in time. Recently, I put out an urgent message for Twin Flames. I had been given a download to share from my guides about the ways in which there are some twins who are stepping off the path. The connection will never die, no, but there are some twins who are making the conscious choice to let it go in this lifetime, to surrender it and to no longer pursue it in any capacity or honor it in any capacity, to move on with their lives in which the best way they know how. And free will is a thing. We're all allowed to choose on the earth plane. And this energy that's been building over the last little bit of time about choice really leaves this choice in the Divine Feminine's hand. Now, the Divine Masculine, on the other hand, is in the middle, as I said, of doing some heavy lifting. So the Divine Masculine symbol in the chart is Jupiter here, the divine counterpart here of Juno, and you can see they're pretty much opposite one another in Gemini and Sagittarius. The Divine Masculine symbol just went retrograde in the last 10 days. And with a retrograde Jupiter, Jupiter really representing expansion, optimism, hope, abundance of opportunity, specifically opportunity, with Jupiter moving in a backwards motion in the sign of truth, in the sign of ideals, in the sign of long distance travel, that which we strive for. It's also, Sagittarius is also really about higher learning and religion. With Jupiter moving retrograde in that sign, not only does Jupiter at the highest octave take on this deeply spiritual energy and the spiritual sides of those activities, but it also can almost act like it's hidden. Jupiter can feel like the optimism, the hope, it's gone. The light's kind of gone out a little bit for some of the Divine Masculines. And I'm seeing this open up in my readings as some of the Divine Feminines are saying, like, he's just not himself. He's nitpicking at me. He's withdrawn completely from me, and I don't know what's going on. He's not communicating fully. That's because the symbol that really governs who he is in the sign of the truth as he knows it is currently taking him on an inward journey to more deeply understand what's going on for him. What is the truth that he needs to face up to? Because I also mentioned this in the New Moon in Aries video. There's this configuration out here in Capricorn that's going on all year long, that's really kind of handing the Divine Masculine some hefty stuff to deal with. So I'll recap very briefly, but I highly recommend you take a look at the New Moon in Aries video, because it explains this configuration in depth. But we've got the three heavy hitters here: Saturn, restoration of integrity; the harsh teacher, the separator. We've got Pluto, life, death, and rebirth cycles, governor of the 8th house of sex, death, and taxes, lord of the underworld, sitting on either side of the south node. The south node represents karma in a chart, things that we need to balance out as we move in life. And this is karma that we've accumulated over past lives or past in this life. With these two sitting so close to this symbol, what we've got here is this kind of almost like they're both sucking out of that south node vortex all of his old stuff that he needs to deal with that he hasn't really faced yet. And it's doing this for everyone, but specifically in the masculine sign of Capricorn, it is really showing up for the divine masculines in a big way. It's a little bit gentler for the divine feminines as it's trine the feminine sign of Taurus. And we'll get into that during our new moon and Taurus conversation in a couple of weeks. But it's really kind of like this would be like a vacuum cleaner in reverse, like spewing everything that it's sucked up right back out and leaving a mess all over the carpet for someone to clean up. It's not pretty. It's not gentle or easy. In the area of your chart that governs, that Capricorn governs, you're going to find that you're in the middle of a bit of a storm, so to speak, while you reconfigure that area of your life. So if you're curious about where that is for you in your chart, we should definitely do a one-on-one reading. You can email me. We can set that up at chrysalismoon@gmail.com. That's KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com. And we can take a look at what is this configuration asking you to reconstruct, reconfigure, redo, rebirth, let go of. Because when Pluto's sitting here and Pluto about to go retrograde and Saturn sitting here also about to go retrograde, this is pretty much the universe prying your fingers off the steering wheel and saying, we've done it your way as much as we can. Now we're going to do it our way. And Capricorn represents that area of our life where we have laid down years of work, years of time, striven toward goals, worked hard to create that which we thought would be a stable foundation for us. And it governs traditions, things we feel like we're supposed to do, standards where we feel we're supposed to uphold. For divine masculines, this is a highly transmutative energy. For all of us, it is. But in particular, for DMs, what I see going on here is a level of taking in some of the negative karmic patterns from the planet that we've had around masculinity, embodying them and then transforming them in such a way that we leave a trail, a breadcrumb trail for everyone who follows in our footsteps. So that's not easy work to do. And these are slow moving transits here. Saturn's going to be in Capricorn all the way through to the end of the year when it finally hits Aquarius. Pluto is going to be here for the next several years. So we've got some time with this energy, and the South Node is also going to be here for the greater part of this year. Now, flanking this energy, interestingly enough, is the Centaur Pholus and Chariklo. Pholus representing self-sacrifice, Chariklo representing divine intercession, that place where you plead with the gods on your behalf. Pholus representing being collateral damage to someone else's misdeeds and misdoings. With these two bookending this, there's something happening here forcing us into a place of deep, deep, deep faith and deep trust and place and recognition of the places where we are absolutely powerless to be in control. This is a big theme for the divine masculine. Sometimes men in a chart can be represented for certain by Saturn, by Pluto. But for all of us, this theme of recognizing where we're not in control, where we have to give it up and give it over to higher powers is what we're being invited to have a look at. So I think I put it this particular way in the Aries new moon video. The divine feminine's at this choice point where she's just got this reprieve. The divine masculine's just kind of getting dragged by the universe right now. as he, plods forward. She can kind of move brick by brick. He's kind of moving grain of sand by grain of sand through some of these energies. So it's a very slow process. So if you know that your choice is to, um, stay as connected as you can with your twin, work within the nature of the connection. Um, my recommendation, given what this looks like, is to do what you can to stand back, observe, be patient, um, get your needs met. That's Chiron here in Aries. That's about you and your needs. Get your needs met and fulfilled on your own. Um, fill your own cup rather than looking to him to fill it, because he's got his own work that he needs to do, especially because right here, squaring all of this, we've got the sun and we've got Uranus. This is instincts and the higher self, creating some tension, pertaining to the latter aspects of some of this energy. This is just a need to, like, if you're a divine masculine watching this, this is a need to really dig into the truth of who you are. What's happening here is, as that vacuum cleaner kind of spews out cosmic and karmic gunk all over your life, or just in the area where Capricorn is sitting in your chart, as that happens, in the area where Aries is sitting, square that. Here is all of your identity and all of your drive and motivation and ambition and your sense of self and self-worth going, I don't know how to fix this. And it is definitely broken. So be patient with yourself if you're recognizing some of these energies and the frustration with it. As these planets move retrograde, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, as they move retrograde, insight and awareness is going to come, especially as Uranus deepens its transit through Taurus. That's going to actually start to electrify some of the insight and awareness as to what can be done and what your step is. But this is going to be a slow moving process as you both integrate the awareness and knowing, build up the courage and the sense of self enough to take the actions that the universe is laying in front of you. As far as the divine feminine goes, her other symbols out here include Venus, include Vesta for sure, include Haumea. When I see Venus in these latter stages of Pisces here, about to move into Aries, this just lets me know that the divine feminine is in for an emergence, where her light is really going to be seen, really going to be, she's going to become quite magnetic. If she, and many divine feminines have already found and already seen this, with this level of choice energy out here in Libra. What I'm noticing in my readings is that many divine feminines are finding themselves starting to be courted and pursued by karmic partners, karmic soulmates. New people are starting to come into the mix and say, hey, I see your light, because, the divine feminines did a lot of heavy lifting last year. Your light is being seen, it's being recognized, people are drawn to it, they want to know, what is this feminine magic that you possess? And you may not even recognize that you are glowing in the way that you are, but you are. And we're going to talk more about this when we get to the divine feminine's new moon, the new moon in Taurus, in a couple of weeks. But this is really, as you stand in that light, and when Venus moves here into Aries, it's just going to amplify everything that's going on out here in Libra. You're going to find that there's going to be some men kind of lurking, swarming, courting, curious about you, that you're going to get the opportunity to say, well, do I want to entertain that, given where my divine masculine is at? Is that something that is going to nourish me, feed me, and allow me to sustain my connection further? Or allow me to relinquish what's no longer serving me in the connection, and perhaps take a longer term break from the connection, or completely walk away from it if that's something you choose to do. Again, free will is a thing. The connection will never die, but what you do with it and how you honor the mission of being a twin is up to you. One of the interesting things about this, however, because Chiron is sitting opposite, and in the early degrees of Aries too, sitting opposite some of this activity out here that's happening later degrees of Libra, Divine Feminine's light is strong. See this trine from Juno out here to all this action in Libra? Her light is strong. Some of the men coming through are interestingly unavailable, I'm noticing and seeing in my readings, for various reasons, but some of it has to do with the Divine Feminine's energy is really resonating from a place of true partnership and true capacity to be in committed relationship. That's all of this Juno partnership asteroid in the sign of the twins trining Libra all this time in the last month. With that energy, like you've really leveled up energetically in a way that you may not even be aware of. And there will be men in committed partnership who may or may not be twins, but just men around you who are drawn to that vibration of partner. Like they didn't even know that that level of woman was even possible until they met you. That was even a data point to sort for as they were meeting women and choosing women. So you may find men who are otherwise committed elsewhere finding themselves unable to take their attention off of you. And again, this is free will. You get to do with that what you choose. The mission of being a twin, being about unconditional love, and you really vibrating in that place. There will be men who are like, they're not getting that in their work partnerships, in their romantic partnerships, in their singledom, while they're being, married to work as a workaholic. They are finding themselves going, oh, that's what it could be like. Got it. And hungry for your energy, but not really knowing why. All good, ladies. Continue to vibrate high. Do with that what you will. But really, the invitation on the table for us is to show the way for higher levels of partnering and communication and love to the planet at this time. Because the lower vibrations around this would have been like, yes, let's just have a secret affair and tell no one and, have this blow up in our face later. There's lots of opportunity to chart a completely new path. Like, okay, we can sleep together, but you got to tell your wife. And those are the terms. Like those kinds of things, like new ways of being in communication about what it means to be a partner and to give birth to your higher self and the truth of who you are is a big piece of what's happening in that energy of choice and radiance for the Divine Feminine. So that's that full moon in Libra. It's going to get more interesting as we move into the new moon in Taurus. So I hope you'll join me for that video in a couple of weeks. As always, I'd love to hear your comments, know what's resonating for you, and how this is playing out in your life. If you'd like to get a reading, you can email me. I'll leave the email link in the description box. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you at the next lunar event.